Hello again. Today I'm going to look at Brompton gears. They are fairly robust, but there are certain things that happen to them that are really annoying. The worst one is with the derailleur, which is easy to fix, and then sometimes you get problems with the hub gears. So we'll have a look at both. Now these derailleur gears are 2-speed, very good design for compactness, but there's a bit of an issue with it when it comes to dirt and rubbish off the road. And what happens, the way it works, you can see these little cogs essentially slide up and down. There's 2 of them, and there's also this levery thing here. And the problem is that what happens is dirt gets up into these, makes these wheels difficult to move. And the main thing is this main actuator. It makes it very difficult to actuate. So if you get in the problem where it's not changing between the 2 gears, up or down, it's really sluggish, maybe you change it and it takes a few turns before it actually goes in. More than likely this has got dirt and rubbish in it and it just needs cleaning out. So a stiff brush, some water, give it a good clean all around here, and that'll be a very good start. If you just caught out, what you can do is use some WD-40 in there, give it sort of a WD-40 wash, and that'll clean out all the rubbish. It's all around here, all around the top here where it gets dirty, and you'll be able to feel it as well. And basically it stops it from going its full throw. So starting off, I've just got some soapy water, it's just a bit of washing up liquid, sponge and a brush of some sort. I'm just going to give it a good clean. So look, I'm cleaning here in this, right in this gap, just at the top of this actuator and all around it, because that is where the problem happens. The other places to clean are the gaps here where the actual cog moves. So you can see the cog slides on sort of a plastic thing. Well, that just needs to be cleaned out. And it will be greasy and oily. So a bit of soap in there helps. Now don't be tempted to get a jet wash on this, because what you really don't want is a jet wash forcing water into any of the bearings, because it'll push out the grease and stuff, and that will cause you problems as you go forwards. Especially don't want a jet washer anywhere near the hub gears, because you don't want soapy water in there, or any sort of water really. And while I'm at it, I'm cleaning all of the bits where the cable's exposed as well. Things like this actuator, a little round the bend thing up here, all that, it's nice and clean. And it has the advantage that if it does turn out to be something else, then at least you won't get so dirty when you're fixing it. Now, I'm giving this a little try out, so I'll try changing gear, and that has in fact solved the problem I was having. It's now changing gear reasonably well. If that doesn't work, what else could be wrong? Really the only thing that could be wrong, unless this has been bashed and is actually bent, it's going to be the cable. And what most likely happens is the cable's either slipped a little bit or it's stretched. Now that's easy to spot, because when you try and go into the lower gear, you're pulling the cable tighter. It's not going into that lower gear, but it will go easily into the higher gear, and that means the cable's probably stretched, and all you need to do is to tighten the cable. That's pretty easy to do. If we go up to the handlebars, you'll see there's an adjuster here. So if the cable has become essentially too loose, you can just add a couple of twists on that, and that will tension the cable a little bit. Likewise, if it won't go into the higher gear, then you could do it the other way. So play around with it, see what happens. If you're not getting a point where you can get into both sets of gears, then it's more likely dirt at the other end. This should give you that extra sort of flexibility in terms of adjusting the cable. That's all you need to do. The other thing that you've got, these 2 screw holes. I'll take an Allen key, and what they'll do is set the end stops. So if you can't get the thing down into this smaller cog, and the cable is as loose as it'll go, then that means the end stop may not be set properly. It's just wind it outside, so you put it into the place where it's going to be pulling it onto that lower cog, and then you just adjust that, and the thing will just drift back slightly this way, and that's your end stop until the thing goes in. And again, if you go the other way, that will be the end stop for the other side. So you've got those two gates, if you like. When you found the point, just adjust it so that it'll just go in. You don't want it to throw the thing too far, but just gently adjust them so that it's in the middle. Now, if you try and diagnose initial problems with the derailleur gears, first thing to check is that the cable's okay. So all you can do, you can adjust it at one end and just make sure you can see that actuator moving. If it's not moving, chances are the cable's broken somewhere. And again, here the cable's exposed. You can pull it out, have a look at it. If it's broken, simply replace the inner cable, and that'll be job done. And that's all there is to it, really. There's not a great deal else that can go wrong. You've got your tensioner here. If the spring's gone in that, not a problem I've ever seen. And there we are. Once you've done all that, it's a good idea to then just get some very light oil and spray in where you've cleaned it, just to make sure that it's lubricated. Don't be putting grease and stuff in, because what happens then is the grease gets gets on the edge, and dirt and stuff sticks to the grease, and you end up with this grinding paste that will be not very good for it. Let's move on to the hub gears now. The hub gear is basically run by this thing here. Now, there's not a lot you can do to the hub gears. If they start playing up, then you've really got a problem. You can dismantle them, but you're into a mess of springs and little cogs, and it can be a bit of a nightmare. Sometimes it's better to just get a new wheel with a new hub on it. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and dismantle your hub gears, but it's not that easy. And so there are YouTube videos around of people actually dismantling them, putting them back together. It's not easy, and getting the parts and identifying the problem, in fact, not always as easy, but you can give it a go. The other final thing you might find is if this chain's come out, it just screws in. So if you undo it from here, you can just screw the chain in or out, and it'll just come out, and there's like a bar about that long inside that comes out, that goes into the hub. However, just adjusting it is easy enough. Now, the way that I do it is to stick it down into third, so like that, and the cable should now be pretty loose. Okay, so that's in its relaxed position, it fits into third. If you want it to be, if you're having trouble with it, so say it's in third, it's not going into second, then chances are that this is too loose. Likewise, if it won't go down into third, chances are this is too tight. Most likely that it's come slightly loose. And now the other way you can spot that is if you put it up into second, that should be fairly solid, and that's working at the moment because that's in second. If you play around with the tension, there is a point in there between second and third where the pedals will just go loose, and it feels like something terrible has happened. It's just the fact that the tension's wrong. If that's happening in second, it means the cable's too loose. It means it's trying to drop down into third. If it's happening in third, it means your cable's too tight and it's trying to jump into second. You get that dead band in between. So don't be afraid to adjust this. It's really easy, and the easiest way, stick it into third to start off with, and it should be pretty loose, and then simply cycle around, change into second. If not going into second, then add a little bit of tension, and just keep doing that until it changes consistently into second when you go up and down, and you should find then that it goes into first as well pretty easily. Once you've found that point, then just do up the thumb screw and you're good to go. And that's really covers most of the things that you can do to the gears on a Brompton. Oil it, keep the chain regularly oiled with a light oil, keep this lot clean, and you should be good to go. Hope that was useful. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Maybe I'll see you next time.